back. So today, start to work on the car or the chassis. With that, the goal today is I want to get at least one corner of the front suspension done, tore apart. Don't know how that will go. There'll be a couple trips to the tool store, I'm sure, and from there we'll carry on. First step is to get all four wheels off, get them put away, get them out of the way in storage, because I'm still going to need them to roll this thing around. Once it's done, we'll go from there. So next step is get those four corners off. All right. So here I'm demonstrating the flex that this chassis has. It is known as the G-body flex, and it is quite the problem with these cars. I consider these cars kind of a hybrid unibody, where the chassis is there just to hold the body, and the body is going to have the majority of the stiffness of the vehicle. I'm going to box in the chassis, which will take care of this quite a lot. You'll see at the very end. And so we're going to continue on. Okay, this is the last good footage I have of tearing apart the front end. The problem is, with the GoPros, the batteries died. And at that point, I did a lot of work, and I'll try to show that to you in other video clips that I have. So, lessons learned, carry on. Okay, here I made the discovery that after I disconnected the sway bar end link, the lower A arm came down lower, or not as low as needed to get the end link out. So I had to remove all the front supports to help get that out. Okay, time to go after the exhaust. Everything else is off. So it is now exhaust time. Start moving backwards. All right, time to get to it. Okay, it's a few days later, and I did a lot of things off camera, and I kind of made the decision, instead of making you guys sit and watch time lapse of me tearing it apart, I'll do work off camera, then I'll give you the update on camera on what got done and how it went. So now, I said I got a little bit done, I got a lot done off camera, and here is the result. It is a bare frame, folks. Everything's stripped off of it. So I left the cross member on to take measurements to ensure that she's still square, and everything else looks really good on it. And even everything came off without any protest. No broken bolts. I didn't have to drill anything. She all came apart pretty well. So now the next step is to start getting it ready for the frame box, and that means taking this all down. I've got to flatten this out a little bit so it fits in there. Same thing over here, I got to flatten that out a little bit. Then I just got to strip it to clean metal, get some weld through primer, and a cold saw, and start going at it. Cold saw will be tomorrow. I'll rent that way I can get the measurements and get the pieces cut, get them fit in, and we can go from there. So continue on. Okay, back, and it's a few days later. I've got it all prepped, ready for welding. But there's a few things more that I have to do, and I'll do all this short stuff on camera. I'll also get some of the welding on camera, and we'll go from there. So let me show you what I've got done. So first off, I've got the frame wheel all nice and clean, ready for weld. I do have to wipe it down a little bit, but not much. I also got the box sections made. So thanks to my fellow YouTuber Pablo, and I'll throw the link in the description below to his channel. He was able to get me this profile that fits perfectly right in with this right here, so it's nice, clean install. Had to cut out because of this here. So I will weld here, then I will cut small pieces of thin metal to plug these holes, so I don't have to booger weld all that, fill that in. The other piece is right here on the table. So first off though, I've got to get it higher, because so I can get a better angle at welding the bottom. I don't want to be welding on my back. I want to be welding in a sitting position, so it's a little bit easier. So I'll get the chassis up in the air a little bit more. Second, I'm going to put all the frame supports in. I've got the frame support that goes from shock tower to shock tower back here, and I've got the frame support for the front that connects here, here, across to here. That triangulates this so the two frame horns don't move. When I do weld, I will weld I'll stitch weld it at inch and a half, about inch and a half a time. I'll go from top, bottom far, I'll go over to the other side, top, bottom far, then I'll come back over here, bottom, top far, so on and so forth. And I'll just keep going back and forth to keep the heat down and to keep from warping. This is not very thick, and if you remember me showing when I was taking the wheels and tires off, the G-body flex, they do have a tendency to warp. So to keep that from happening, we will do it that way. So with all that, let's get started. Okay, back from the store, and I've got the wire. So now I'm going to go underneath. I'm not going to continue welding. I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to clean that gap up a little bit. Some of the ugliness that I did, I'm going to clean up. Then I'm going to, like I said, close the gap up between the frame and the box, just so I can get a better weld. That was the big problem. There's too much of a gap. So here we go. I've got all the welds ground down. Now it's as simple as filling in the holes where the spot welds didn't completely fill in, then grinding smooth, just making it look good. And they're good solid welds. I just want to make it look better. I'll give you a shot here. These are ugly, but they work. Underneath, I'll show you how that looks. So there's some new spot wood fills that I'm going to grind down now, and we'll get it done. I now decided that these areas here near the body mounts, I'm going to leave open. And then small areas, I'm not going to have to fill those in. Plus it gives me access to put in some frame wax, spray and frame wax to help coat that inside area. So let's get to it. All right, folks, the frame is ready for powder coat. I'm done. So now I'm going to get the powder coater on the line Monday, get it scheduled, then we got to get it over. So to show you the final results, now remember, I'm a rookie welder, and these are good solid welds. They're ugly, but they're good and solid. So cleaned up the mounts. I know with the sandblasting they'll get cleaned up even better. But there's the boxing. Also took down a little bit of the factory slag. Got in there as much as I could. I didn't clean it up as much as Pablo did. Pablo did a ton of work. You can see his chassis on his channel, which again I'll link down below. He's the one who had the box profile to match this profile. So big shout out to him. He sent me his last scrap piece so I could get the profile and get it all bent up for me. So now here's the big thing. If you remember in the back of the beginning of the video when I was removing the wheels and tires, how you saw the G-body flex. Well, that was with the transmission cross member in. The transmission cross member is out right now, and if you take a look, I lift up on this outer corner and the whole thing lifts up. It don't flex no more, and that's what I wanted. So with that, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button. That way you know when I drop the next one. The next one will be it coming back from powder coat and starting to put all the new stuff on it so I can clear out that corner of the garage. So until then, thanks for watching.